Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week. Pets have come to mean so much in our lives. The intense love and bond we form with our animal companions essentially makes them part of the family. They bring joy and fun as well as structure to our day and keep us active while offering much needed companionship. So when a beloved pet goes missing, it's not just another animal or just a cat or dog that we go searching for. Rather, it's a beloved member of the family we go looking for. Hello and welcome to another episode of 100M, where we'll look at 10 pets that returned home after being lost. Number 10. Murphy the Golden Retriever. The adorable pooch named Murphy wandered away from her family after being frightened by distant gunshot sounds, and later that evening, it was a long wait before the couple acknowledged that Murphy wouldn't be joining them that night. The Browns kept going back to the campground every time they were notified of a similar-looking dog spotted not far from where Murphy was last seen. The last time they drove back to the campsite, the almost broken couple decided to leave behind Murphy's old bed and blanket, as well as some of their own personal effects, just in case she's able to sniff them out. And later one evening, nearly 2 years after Murphy went missing, she was seen curled up in a ball on her old bed. The Browns could not hide their joy when Murphy ran up to them as they pulled up at the very campsite where they got separated 2 years prior. It was a very touching reunion, with tears flowing despite everyone's best efforts not to cry. Number 9. Benny St. Nick the cat. This black cat named Benny was missing for 7 years, but was rather miraculously able to find his way home on December 2020, just in time for Christmas. His owner, 65-year-old Nancy Bryant from New Hampshire, could hardly contain her happiness to see Benny back home. Although she keeps other animals in the house, Bryant had gotten especially fond of Benny ever since she took him in from a friend's daughter back in 2011. Benny was allowed to go play out in the woods, but he would always come back home, until one day he went missing and didn't return home. The neighborhood was filled with missing cat posters, and there's not a single neighbor who didn't help in the search of the then popular black cat. Fortunately, Benny's previous owner had the cat microchipped, and when a good Samaritan rescued him from the street, he had the microchip scanned. The previous owner was contacted, and she was able to give directions to find Bryant, the new owner. Number 8. Orphaned black bear cub. It's very common for people to encounter seemingly orphaned or abandoned wild animals. Often the people who discover orphaned animals in the wild contact a wildlife expert to help rehabilitate and care for the animal. While something similar did happen in this story, it was a family dog that discovered an orphaned animal in the wild, and what it did was remarkable. The family dog brought home the orphaned infant it had discovered in the wild. The orphaned infant turned out to be a black bear cub, hungry, dehydrated, and weighing only 1.2 pounds. The dog's owner arranged to transport the bear cub to the Wildlife Center of Virginia, where it was settled in an incubator and put on a specialized formula diet routine. And when the infant bear cub was completely rehabilitated, biologists at the Wildlife Center were able to successfully foster her with her new bear mom. Number 7. Spartacus the Serval. A legally owned wildcat named Spartacus had gone missing for 3 days after escaping from his New Hampshire home. The owner had adopted the serval cat, a wildcat species native to Africa, from Florida Zoo 4 years prior, and they claimed that the time he went missing was the very first time such a thing had happened. Fortunately, authorities were able to locate Spartacus and returned him to his owners safe and unharmed. Number 6. Nigel the Parrot. An African gray parrot named Nigel lived with his owner, Darren Schick, in California, where the bird learned to speak and adopted Darren's British accent. One day, Nigel flew away, and when he did not return, Darren was unable to find him. The pet parrot remained missing for 4 years until one day when he was taken to a veterinarian, where they discovered a microchip implanted in the bird. Darren's details were pulled up, and he and Nigel were reunited. Now, this would have been a non-story had it not been for the fact that Nigel was speaking a different language, which he couldn't speak before he went missing. It turns out that the pet parrot had picked up a bit of Spanish during his 4-year jaunt. Number 5. Manuela the tortoise. A pet tortoise from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, had gone missing since 1982. Despite an extensive search for the red-footed pet tortoise, the owners, the Almeida family, could not find Manuela anywhere. Her owners assumed that she had found her way out of the house since there was some construction work going on that day, and the builders left the front door open for the most part of that day. Shockingly, Manuela was discovered locked up in a storeroom in the same house in 2013, some 30 years later. The family was surprised and could not believe that Manuela had been locked up in there all along, and they couldn't understand how she was able to survive being confined in the storeroom for 30 years. Number 4. Ashes the cat. Sometime about a year ago, 2 pets, a cat named Ashes and a white-capped Pionus parrot named Levi, were stolen from a pet store in Berks County after a break-in at the store. Ashes was returned about a day later, and the owner, Diane Stelter, who is also the pet store manager on Perkiomen Avenue in St. Lawrence, was bursting with joy when Ashes returned. However, her pet parrot still remained missing, and she was obviously torn with mixed feelings for the return of one pet but the unknown fate of another. She offered a reward in the tune of $1,000 for anyone who would return the lost pet parrot home, safe and unharmed. Number 3. PIKO-CHAN, the blue budgie. This cute little bird was given the name PIKO-CHAN, and it lives in Sagimahara, west of Tokyo. She's a smart little birdie that can recite her name and home address, down to the house number. After losing another pet parakeet, the bird's owner taught PIKO-CHAN to repeat where she lived just in case she flew too far and was unable to find her way home one day. And as fate would have it, PIKO-CHAN flew too far from home one Sunday evening, ending up at a nearby hotel where it perched on the shoulder of one of the hotel's guests. The police were called to help take the bird to safety and probably even help return her home. But this would prove difficult as PIKO-CHAN would not respond to the officers' questions. It was only after 3 days that she delightfully sang her name and address. She must have gotten homesick.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
We have a picture sent to us by a subscriber just like you. It shows a lady hugging affectionately her chestnut horse after being separated for a long time. Want to find out more about it? Number 2. OPIE the horse. The shock a horse owner experiences when they come home to discover the stables empty and their horse missing is inexplicable. It's one of those painful experiences which no horse owner would ever wish to suffer. You can therefore imagine just how devastated one horse owner from Texas was when she went home from the hospital only to learn that her horse had been stolen. Michelle Poole, the horse owner, had arranged to have her horse stay at her dad's property since she was scheduled for back surgery and would have to be admitted to the hospital. Her father wasn't a horse owner and therefore didn't have a stable on his property. But this didn't matter since Michelle knew that she wouldn't be admitted to the hospital for too long, and she thought she could save big if she was able to get around taking her horse OPIE to a boarding facility. And so, one unfortunate day, her dad discovered that the fence was clipped and her daughter's horse was missing, most likely stolen. The search for the missing horse was led by an organization called Stolen Horse International, a renowned authority on matters dealing with stolen horses and tracks. But it would not be that easy. It would take 10 years before OPIE was found and reunited with her owner, and had it not been for OPIE's unique markings on her body, she would probably not have ever been found at all.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works.
Number 1. Luna the German Shepherd. Nick Hayworth wouldn't do anything or go anywhere without his buddy, a year-old German Shepherd named Luna. So when Nick went out fishing one day, his buddy Luna was with him in the fishing boat off the coast of San Diego, California. A few moments after taking what would be Luna's last photo, Nick realized that his beloved dog was not in the boat and made a quick turn to try and find her. A distraught Nick gave up the search after combing the Pacific for hours. He would return with the Coast Guard and Navy to cover a wider area over the next few days, but even that would prove futile. utterly crushed, Nick went to Facebook and posted, "Rest in peace, Luna, you will be missed." Little did he know that he and Luna would soon be reunited. When Luna fell off the boat, she had somehow managed to swim almost 2 miles to San Clemente Island, where she would call home for the next month, until one day she was found by the Navy and returned to Nick. It was a heartwarming moment, and Luna couldn't hide the joy she had for being reunited with her owner, who was quoted saying that it was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life to have my best friend back. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like icon and leave a comment. Your engagement is what keeps our curiosity going. We have lots of fantastic videos that you will enjoy. You can start by checking out the 2 already showing up on your screen right now. Keep it 100.